you touched on a few really good things here, and so that's why we're doing even the series and the talks is, helping female leaders help others. And so, we have 3,000 coaches in the country currently registered with a TPA. There's a very small percentage of those that are females. And so, there's a lot of opportunities and stepping stones that someone could go through to stay in the sport, but at the same time connect with others, learn to network, learn to become a leader, whether it's within tennis ultimately or not. But I think that the sport can teach us so much. And so for yourself, you've been in tennis for a long time as a coach. And so what is your current position mostly entail, and tell me a little bit more about how important networking has been for you in your roles as a coach and female leader so far?
Yeah, so currently as the Director of High Performance for Tennis BC, I would say like 60% administrative work. And I'm lucky to be I'm lucky to work for Tennis BC because I've been able to create the job I want for myself. Okay. What I mean by that is that I can go on court with our provincial kids. I lead our provincial training camps. I can regroup kids. I started a girls program a long time ago, so I go on court with the girls. So I keep that connection to coaching. So I've never really had to choose, do I want to be 100% a 40 hours a week coach, which I know personally I can't do, and truly love it and give it everything I have, be who I want to be in it.
Yes.
And I love the admin portion. I love the to create opportunities, and I find being on court helps me learn about what I need to do off court. It's like, I see the kids, I'm making that connection with them. I see where they're struggling on court, and I'm like, and then I go, okay, is there something I can do? Could be a program. Can I link these kids to do a team event in Vegas or somewhere? Right. Do different things that can, maybe spark a bit of joy back in
their experience overall. So you see on court what needs to be done off court.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
So, and that's kind of when I can't be on court and it becomes purely admin. I'm useless at my job personally, because I feel admin. For me, because the admin portion, it becomes to me it's stale. I feel kind of like I'm not maximizing my potential in what I'm doing, and you get rolled into the what we talked about, like,
and it's a disconnect a little bit sometimes, isn't it? Like some people that have their job in that office, controlling what's happening on the court, or vice versa.
Yes.
You feel disconnected a little bit.
Totally. And the hardest part about my job is, because I work for a provincial sport organization, I try to facilitate things, but I'm not in charge of anyone's development. But it's like, okay, how can I fill gaps? What are the gaps, and is there a way that I can fill them that can support the clubs, the players, the coaches as much as I can? Right. So that's been
and so part of that, and part of that is the networking piece. And so and we talked a little bit about finding networking within other sports as well. But just in the tennis world, like is there ways of people connecting with each other that you found really useful in the past?
I think everybody does it different, and I think it's so dependent on your own personality and the roles that you're in. And the first thing that I can say is just be brave. Just reach out to someone that that you feel like you want to ask a question to, or someone who's doing something well that you're curious. Be curious. And I think what I've learned from everybody I've been around in this sport is a lot of people love to share. I'm doing this, and like no one's not gonna like toot their own horn and say like I've done this and it's working really.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's one thing I've learned about this sport is like, you want to hear me talk about what I'm doing? No problem. I got this, So right. and so for me, it's what I've been fortunate with my job is connecting with all these tennis directors, and other coaches, fellow coaches, and for me, my networking has been, getting coaches together on a call, even if it's talking about some U10 development, but seeing 20 coaches on a screen and just seeing them, honestly, to me has been, especially during times like this, have been so good, because it's like, okay, we're in it together. Again, that big piece is we're in it together, and just it doesn't have to be formal. You know, like I think what I've learned the most is just going in and just say, hey, can we just meet for a coffee? Or hey, can I just come in and chat with you at your office? And just that organic dialogue, like just
it triggers the conversation and the sharing of information, and all of a sudden you connect with someone and they may connect you with someone else, and so forth, right?
Yeah, and so that's been a cool part with my connection with like within tennis. Like I said, I've been in it for 20 years, so I don't. It's been like, you know, overly, like we're so connected,
right,
like over and over again, and it's been great. But my connection with the outside sports has been so good, in that, like, you know, how Sev connected me with Allison, who connected me with Megan, and
yes,
Megan runs a girls program. So and it's a basketball, so we're going to be doing some combined tennis, right, basketball, yeah, camps, doing different things for kids, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And yes, that's like, especially in times like now, where, like, you know, we're so limited with what we can do. Like I can't do anything for at least another 5 weeks, you know. So it's like, it gets me motivated to like, this is something new and fresh, so let's do it, and it keeps my brain going a bit more. So it's been good, and it's the learning from the other sports, and being around other women who genuinely want to see you succeed. So I've been in mentorship programs, and I know we're talking a bit about networking,
that's
but
fine,
it's
yes,
like,
it's fine.
But I've been in mentorship programs where, you know, for myself, I was assigned a mentor. And this person that was assigned to me was someone I had never met before they were assigned to me. So I have no idea whether we're actually going to click, whether they actually know much about me, how I function as a human, what I want to do.
Or if you know them, and whether you want to be having a relationship 100%. With that person.
Exactly. Like you said, it's a relationship, and would I want to engage in that? And a same friend actually had the option, in the same program, had the option to choose her mentor going into the program. So our experiences were completely different. And what I would encourage anybody who's looking out to have somebody help them is take that extra bit of time to do your research.
Sort of like dig into it a bit.
Yeah, ask around, ask somebody, you know, meet up for coffee, a Zoom call, just chat, and then you'll figure out, like, oh, this person, for me, I'm a very much feelings person.
Of course.
So I'm like, oh, I get a good feeling from this person, and let's see how it goes. And so much of it, for me, a good mentor is someone who's willing to take the time to listen to what you have to say. Listen to your struggles, ask you questions that get you to think about, okay, where are you at right now? Where do you want to be going? You might not even know the answers, because the whole and I think a mentor at 25 for me is, I needed something different than I needed at 30 and at 35, right? So I've had people, like when I first started my job in high performance, and Odette Jacob was there for me to help me guide me through the first part of my job, right, and be there as an emotional and social support, as well as a technical support.
At that time, is that sort of, that's what you felt like you needed?
That's what I needed, and what was great is, like, he knew he could only help me so much.
Right.
And then he connected me. He was like, hey, I think you should connect with Sev. And he connected me with Sev, and she was my next going on 8 years mentor. Sorry, Sev. Like,
but it's a long-term relationship that you build, and trust, and a conversation. You know, it grows, so to speak, because the more that person knows you, the more they can give you that input.
Exactly.
And listen more effectively.
Yes, and that's why I think it's it could be a formal mentorship or an informal mentorship. And what I mean by that, if it's like a formal mentorship, you're part of a system, part of a program like the CAC, High Performance Coach Mentorship Program. And if it's done properly and you're connected with the right mentor, it doesn't need to end when the program ends.
How long is the program?
I think when I was in it, it was 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months.
But I'm not sure how long it is now.
Okay.
I was in it about 5 years ago.
Okay. And then, sorry, just to stop you there, do you then within that program develop some relationships or some things that can help you connect further with other mentors, or is there some sort of like almost like a recycling program where you finish the 12 to 18 months, or if not, where do you take it from there?
Yeah, during my time, it wasn't that way.
Okay.
So it was, I had a mentor who helped, helped me to try and identify my 5-year plan.
Okay.
Set like shorter term goals, and we would connect every 2-3 weeks to like where I was at, any challenge I was having, and my experience when that ended, it was like that my relationship with that mentor ended.
Also
my last
ended.
Call was my last communication with them.
It was like a professional relationship, and it ended.
And it felt very transactional.
Right. Okay.
Where for me, I need more of an interpersonal relationship, because it's very much, for me, it's about building trust and being vulnerable, because I have a lot of insecurities, and I need someone I need to feel safe talking to someone about it. I need to and being a woman in this sport, and I went through it with being even part of the mentorship program. I've had situations where in my job I'm like, I really want to make a change to how our provincial program is running, so I'm going to lead it. I want it to be done different than what every other program is being done in the club. And I was talking about that, and then I was told that, like, hey, you got to make sure you have a male coach there with you, or else it's not going to be respected as highly of a program if it was just me leading it.
Right.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. That's the reality of a lot of scenarios around the world, and I mean, obviously in Canada as well.
Yeah, and I'm stubborn, and I'm like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I can do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lead this, and it doesn't mean listen, I've learned so much from male coaches, and I don't look at that like as a male coach and a female coach. I've learned so much from other coaches, and I will continue to learn. But it's like, you just identified that just because I'm a female, I'm not, and I get it. I get the optics. A male can walk on a court, like you said earlier. They can look the part, and then I'm like, man, I'm dressed, I'm in shape, I got a racket stenciled, I'm good to go. You got automatic, you got credibility. As a woman, it's like, what you got? Show me. And you show me over and over again. And only after, I did that and led the program, and I did have male coaches there, because to me, it's not a girl, it's definitely not. It's like, okay, how do I provide opportunities for other young coaches who want to be part of the system and be part of the provincial program? So we were a team, and I would say, like, my provincial coaches and I love them. We have great relationships. I'm comfortable calling them, and we work together regardless of male or female.
Okay.
But it was cool that, a year or so after the fact, I get that, like, you did a great job doing that, but I had to go through every emotion in my head, because it's tough when you're, like I said earlier, like, you're constantly having the battle, and you kind of have to be your biggest cheerleader, even in your most insecure moments.
That's not easy.
No, when you have people telling you can't, but in your head you're like, I really want to, and I know I'm not 100% sure if I can, but man, I'm gonna give it. And it's like, I always hear that fear of failure. What is failure? It's like, failure's not even trying. So it's like, you have to put yourself out there. So I'd say for any female coach that wants to do something, whether it is going, whether it's like you starting as a player. I have so many kids that I'm like, I see them and I'm like, oh man, you'd be so great to coach, because you have that care, and I think to be a great coach, doesn't male or female, you need to have that care. So it's like, how do we keep them in this system? And that's get them in, but also keep them, because me being someone who is, again, so kind of like driven and very strong-headed, I'm like, it's a fight.
I wanna go, yes.
But so many times I, even to this day, question why. It's like and I don't want to say sacrifice, because I feel like when I say sacrifice, it's not, I'm doing something I don't love, but it's a lot of challenges that sometimes, like, is this really adding value to my life?